Hi everybody, it's Venus. I thought I'd come today and talk a little bit more, and I think my theme is going to be to show you little tips and tricks at the end of every conversation that I bring to you guys. Um, I wanted to demonstrate some stuff for you, show you some things that I have in my drawer. We talked about neck strips and capes and draping your customers and all that stuff. But I want to show you some gadgets that I have that you guys might like. I have here, I'm going to show you a trick with the mannequin in a minute, but here is a wristlet. And this wristlet, as you see, it got shears on it. I chose the one with the shears. You can do, I think there was another one. Where is it? I think there was a heart you can put on here. You can put scissors on here. I think it was a clipper or something. I can't remember wherever else it is. But it's like a little rubber shear on top of this little band that slides on this little band here. You can take them on and off and change them out. And then in between here, you can put your shear, a comb, your clippies, your duck bills. And then right here, I put hairpins. You have a magnet right here for your hairpins and stuff. And I know I was talking about putting your pins and stuff in your mouth. You know, you touch all over your client's head, and then you come back and you want to stick a bobby pin, and people are putting their hands in the pins after you touched all over it, put it in your mouth. That's just not okay. It's not okay for you to put it from your mouth to your customer, or from touching your customer and putting it in your own mouth for your own safety. You don't want to do that. So I have this little cuff here that I love to pieces, and it fit comfortably. It's not too tight, it's not too loose. I can loosen it, I can tighten it for whatever I want. And then my pins stick right here, and they can fit across each other, on top of each other. I was hoping you can see that really good. And they'll all stick together. And then whenever you're ready for it, the one thing I like about this little metal tip here, that's what this is for. You open your bobby pins so you don't have to stick it in your mouth. You open your bobby pins, and sometimes I'll leave one there, or put a few there, and I can just take them off opened and stick them right in for faster. So, you know, if you want something, you think you're gonna do something you need to be quick with, you can put a couple on there, or you can just put them on the band already opened, slide them on there open, so when you take them off, you can pinch up and slide it off, and it's open for you to access to the client's head. But that's another thing, you know, being clean and being tidy and being professional. Get whatever, I don't care. It could be a bandana. If you want to put a bandana on your wrist, bandana or whatever, just as long as you're not putting things from your mouth to your client, or from your client to your mouth. You know, that's the number one thing. Even with state board, that's the number one thing. Everything has to be, you know, right in order to do that. And that was just one of my other things that I wanted to talk about, as far as like covering things that if you have not been to school, or even if you have been to school and you're not practicing what you learned in school. Sometimes you be out of school so long. I've been out of school a long time, but I just always felt like that was number one. As long as I practice what I've learned, then I'll always be doing the right thing, and that I'll always be in state board, you know, regulations when it comes to servicing a customer or a client, and making sure that things are neat, tidy, and clean and well kept, because it's important. And so for the client and for yourself, as far as health wise. But then I didn't want to just talk on that. I wanted to touch on a few other things. I got my caddy next to me. It's got everything in it. I wanted to talk about, I'll show you here, your shears and your clippers and your comb and different cutting things, technical things that you can use for a service. And these are all my favorite things to use, so this is what I'm going to talk about. These are my favorite things. So, I know a lot of people try to cut with the razor, try to cut lace fronts with these things here. Sometimes you get too close, you can actually, like, you can nip from the bottom, or you can nip from the top, because sometimes these are very short, and sometimes they can be very dull when you get them brand new in the pack. So they're just funny. They sometimes they for eyebrows. They're not for hair services, like that kind of hair service, but for facial little hair services. That's what those are for. And I found these little shears. I forget what they're called. That shows you my age. I'm getting old. I can't think of it. But I thought these were nice because they're tiny and they have the long skinny point. So when you want to trim away, if you wanted to trim away your lace on your wigs and stuff and around a customer's face, when you put that lace up there and you're all done and you want to remove that lace, and this here, sometimes when you cut down you can't see because you're standing at a different angle sometimes, and sometimes when you cut down you don't realize that bottom ridge has nipped you, has got the customer. So it don't happen to everybody, so it happens sometimes. I'm not saying that that's a phenomenon or anything, but these are real tiny and you can jag it real easy because you don't want your lace to be straight, because when you cut that lace straight, if it lifts a little bit, it's telling on you. So you want to cut that lace at a zigzag, jagged motion. You don't want it to be even Steven. Just jig-jag it, and that way when it's laying against the skin, it's not visible where the lace is. That's why they cut it like that, so it's not visibly, it's not to the eye. And then it'll camouflage, like hide itself with the skin. So that's what I got these for, so I can get in there real close and just jag it all the way across and not have to worry about, am I cutting my customer back here? When I got my pointers in front of me, I can see where I'm going, I know where I'm going, and I don't have to worry about that. So that's the point of me getting those shears, so that I can do that and not have to worry about that, hurting somebody. You don't want to hurt nobody. But then we got different types of, I got my cutting shears. When I was in school, they made it was a point to know all the different points, pivot screw, the finger rest, all these things, all these parts and stuff of the shear. They all serve a purpose and a reason. So that's why they made it a point for all of us to learn these, like the straight edge, the cutting edge, and all that stuff, the beveled edge. You have to learn all that so you know how your shears work. But if you haven't, then you can't cut hair with paper scissors. You can't use scissors. You should be using shears to cut hair. Now, a lot of times people, I wouldn't want to use my expensive shears on weave unless you got 100% hair 100% human hair that you're working with. If it's synthetic or you're not sure what fiber or what it is, sometimes this stuff can be dulling to your new shears, so you don't want to use your good shears. You want to have a pair of shears on standby for cutting weaves and stuff like that, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of like efforlating and cutting down and all that stuff with your shears. You want to use something that can stand up to that. You don't want to wear out your good shears, because you want to save your good shears for when you're doing that bad haircut, that short style, or a nice long. You want to have something sharp and clean and crisp. So you want to keep your good shears, put up for that purpose, and save all the other stuff for wigs, weaves, and all that, unless, like I said, unless it's 100% human hair. And then, sorry guys, I was supposed to put on a jacket and I didn't because I got hot back here. But then I have my thinning shears. I love these guys. So we had to learn these parts of the thinning shears and stuff too. A lot of people they see people use these and just think you're supposed to cut. You can cut. They don't cut like that. They are to help remove bulk and help remove weight. They're not for cutting the hair like that, even though you can go a couple times and cut and it'll fall off, but that's not what these are for. If you were like tying a taper in the neck and was doing that, that'd be good. A lot of people, to each his own what they feel like they want to do with their shears and their clippers and their combs and all that stuff, but that's what that's for. This is a thinning shear, just to thin hair out. Like if it's too heavy somewhere and you don't want to take the scissors, because sometimes you can remove too much, and With this, you can only remove a little at a time. So that's the good thing about these. If you're not sure how much you want to remove, you want to use your thinnest shears and take that bulk out, and not try to use the scissors if you're uncertain to where your weight is and how to do that. Especially if you've not been to school and don't know how to use it, so that you're not jacking up a customer and then being like, oh yeah, it's cute, it's supposed to be like that. No, get you some thinning shears that'll help you like figure your way out. And then once you trim some of that away, you can see sometime like, oh, I know where I want to go with that now. Let me put these up and get the shears out or the razor out and finish what I want. And so I have this razor that I like, the finger grip, because when I wet the hair down and then I come in with this, I like how close I can come down on that hair and remove that, and I just like how the hair lays when I do this. Like most razors do that, so it ain't like this one's a special razor that is doing something so creative that, you know, it's not that. It's just that I like how this feels small in my hand. Like the school razors, when you go to school, you know, you did like them big old barber razors, like you're gonna be Jackie Chan or something. They got the big beveled handles and all that stuff, or the big handle on the back of it. It's hard. It feels like it gets in the way. I feel like I can get close and personal with this. It's light. It's got enough weight to it that I know it's in my hand, and it's light enough that I can come down on that hair and remove all that unwanted hair that I don't want there anymore. And then this one, I call it my weave razor. You know, it's got the long side and then it's got the really close side. So again, this is good for if you're not sure how much weight you want to remove. You want to use the longer side and take the weight off. And then if you see that that's not quite enough, then move to the thin side, because you don't want to hit that hair, boom, boom, and cut a hole. Like a good spot that I learned when I was in school, holes always happen right behind the ear. For some reason or another, you know, that your hair grows around your ear. This space right here, a lot of people always cut hair and forget that you need to leave space for that, because you could cut it and cut a big old hole right there, and then you'll have a nice cut and then be like, what's missing? Something's missing through here. That happens a lot. So that's why it's good to use this to remove some of the weight so you can see where you're going. And then once you can see where you're going, then you come back with the smaller side and take out what you want and put where you want it, you know, with the razor. So there's another one of my favorite tools, especially for weaves and wigs, because these are cheap. You can get them for $1, and when they dull out, throw it away and get you a new one. So that's good. And then there's companies out there that sharpen shears. So if you got a good pair of shears that you love and you don't want to get rid of, you can have them sharpened and get your edges, you know, sharpened so that when they dull out, so that you can still continue to do really great haircuts. So you can look into that. And then I think that's all my fun stuff, except for I got this new, oh, here go the other little, what was it? Oh, it was lips. They go on the wristlet. I guess if you was a makeup artist, you can put that on your wristlet, but I got the shears because I do hair. So it was lips. I knew it was something else. I couldn't remember what it was. And then I bought these little gadgets here that I love. I think they're so cute. And it's like 50 or 60 in this pack. I got them dirt cheap. And I love them because I think it's important, because especially some, you know, you cape up so that you don't get hairspray and spritz everywhere. What I like about this is that you can put this on the client. You peel that off, and it's not going to hurt the client at all. Let me take this off of her. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. And then you come around here, and you know you're going to be a certain amount of space away from your client. I'm doing this from the back of her, so I hope I'm getting that right. And then you just come across the forehead like this. And then what happens is when you spray your spritz or whatever, that's not going to get all in her face. It's going to land on this little lens here, and which is really nice, because people, I can't tell you how many times I spray and people go, you know, like they scared you're going to spray them in the eyes. This way, you know, they're protected. Her little face is small, so they come down on the side like this on the face. So you're not shooting it in the side of the eye. you're not getting it in the front of their faces. And this catches so much, like you should feel this just from that little spray, how much this, you can feel that on here. So imagine when you finish a whole service, after you done sprayed and oil sheen and spritzed and all that stuff, how this feels got to be how the customer's face feels. So I like these little things. And then when you're done with your service, you take off. The makeup isn't ruined. They still look fabulous. They don't feel like they got to go home and wash their face. And they look good. And then you throw away this little shield here right in the trash can. And on to the next customer. And so that was all for today. I don't want to give away everything, so we can always have something to come back and talk about. But I do want to show you guys a trick that I used to do. I know everybody has new tricks and some kind of trick that they used to do. But before we had all these special things, I'm going to show you a trick that I used to do with closures. Just in case, because everybody can't afford a lace. I'm not paying that kind of money for laces because I got my locks. I was like, no, I'm just teasing, guys. But so let's say a customer comes to you and she got a closure and you like, what am I gonna do with this? You can use this. You don't have to put the closures in. Like, this is for, you can make a mock part and then you sew it in like this. It's too much work, and by the time you get it right, it's usually either too gappy, too far forward, or too far back. It's hard to do that. Get this sewn on there where this part, let me see where you guys can see it, where this part is such a perfect part that you can't, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work for nothing. But you can do like I do, is I would reverse this track around like this, and I would take my little shears here, my little lace weave shears, and what I would do is, if you can see that, I promise I'm gonna get one of those ring lights, guys, because this is terrible. It's hard to see what I'm talking about, isn't it? So here is where the last track is, and then the rest of that is lace, because you can obviously see that that's lace. So what I would do here is I would take my shears, and I make sure that hair is back and out the way really good, and I get close as I can without cutting that track. Don't cut the track, and just get close as you can all the way down to that first track, because it's sewn together on the inside too, so you're not going to lose your, there it fell, you're not going to lose, see, it's off of there now, the lace is gone. You can see where I just cut it straight across. See, there's the rest of the lace. And I would normally take this all the way, see how that felt is under there? I would normally cut the lace off all the way around, because it depends. Like, if I was doing this and I needed to sew this to, if I was going to sew another track underneath, I would leave just a little bit of that to put the thread through to sew on that, so that when you sew this part don't, you know, it don't do that fattening, get fat. You can leave enough lace where you can put the thread through and it'll still lay flat. So don't take it all the way off unless you know exactly what you're going to do with it. And then what I do, put my shears back. I believe in putting everything away once I'm done with it, or putting it where it can be, you know, like a container to be clean, so at the end of the night I can clean everything down that I've used. You put that track up there, whether you're going to put it on the side or in the middle, however you're doing it, whatever you want is fine. But I would put that up there, and so when you flip this over like this, you can sew this down. You can bring this, you got enough free hair here on the edge because they left that butt in the back. So you don't have to worry about putting that track right on the edge. You don't have to worry about hiding it all the way up here, because when you bring this up here, you got this little lip right here. You can come back a smidget off the hairline. You come back off the hairline and you start sewing right here, right back off the edge. See how you can still see a little bit of the blonde? But it's okay to still see a little bit, because when I let this go, this look like it's going, like it's coming from her. See there? It looked like it's coming. Let me take her off. It looked like it's coming out of her scalp. You can't see her hair under there. So that's why I put these on backwards, because the butt of it is the best part for that. And then she still looks like she has a part here, but it's, you know, it's a mock part. It's not a clean part. You can do what you want. You can do the makeup brush. You can do the whatever. And then once you do that, you can take the Got to Be glue, spray it, and it'll last until it gets wet, or if she's brushing and combing it on it, you just put a little bit there. Got to be glued, and that line will stay there looking like a real scalp. And then you just sew it on down all the way back like this, and you don't need a closure, because this will become your closure if you angle it just right. So you can sew all this hair all the way around, sew, but leave like 3 braid spaces available, because this can fit about 3 braids, 2 to 3 braids under that. Leave that open, braided, sew everything else around, and then when you put this piece up here, you get this. You'll get like this closed cap part. You don't need to worry about closure, like how am I going to sew this closure, especially if you don't know how to make a closure and you don't know how to close it up. You just sew this down, and then if you have anything left over, it's okay. Just take the scissors, nip off what's left over, and you don't have to worry about hiding it or closing it. You just make sure you take that needle and thread and you sew that bottom back piece under, tie it off, cut it, and you're done. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to make a closure or how you're going to hide that. And that's just been my trick, because I got tired of trying to make closures when you make them in circles, when you're sewing that hair in the top, and then you're going around and around and around and around and around, and eventually you get to this little part where you can't hardly get that hair to rotate for you. So you get so smaller, and then it's still hard to make that final piece sit flat, so you end up with the big barrels trying to earn that part down and make it flat. Just reverse that part around, flip it around, and you're done. You don't even have to worry about trying to hide that top part anymore, sewing this around enough, because you got tracks, or you have 2 wefts, and so I used to do the cut in half weft, sew it in. It took forever, but then when I started doing that, it cut my time down by I can't tell you, it saved me a lot of time, because all I had to do was braid these braids, leave 3 of these braids out like this, sew all of my hair in, put that up there, sew my track in here, and whatever's left in the back, come on back a little bit further and close that off, sew that down so it's tied off. Done. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out how you're going to hide it. It's done for you. And then you just go in, flat iron, cut your style if you want to first, then flat iron, however you like to do. Some people like to work backwards. I like to cut, then style. And then you got a full head of service in way less time, because you didn't have to go around and around and around and around and around 1,000 times until you figured out how you're going to end that closure without having that little duck bird sticking up on the top. But that is that for my trick. It's a lot of words and a lot of things to say in it, but that is just one little trick I used to do to cut my service down in half, so that I can get the customer in and out of the chair and get the next one in, so that I can make some money for the day. But that was always my goal, is what can I do to make this service look good, look very pretty, make my customer happy, make me happy, and get that customer out of here satisfied, so I can get the next one in the chair. And that's just how I thought about every service, even a shortcut or a long weave or a short weave or a quick weave or whatever I was doing on the next person. What can I do to cut my time down so that I can get that person serviced, well taken care of, and out the door, so I can get the next one in the chair? Because your speed is your money. So if you're slow and you work slow and it take you a long time, then what you make for that day is what you've made. So if you took a $65 sew-in or $85, whatever you charge, $200 sew-in, and you made it last 5 hours, you've really cut your money short for the day. So you want to be able to service a customer, get them in, get them out, make your money. So I always figure, is there a shortcut to this? Is there another alternative that I can do that can speed my service up so that I can get this customer in, satisfied, happy, and out of the chair, and schedule her appointment for the next time? So all right, that is that, guys. If there is a comment or a question or something you want to know about me, put it in the comments. I don't have a lot of subscribers yet, so if when that happens, that'll be a happy day. But until then, I'll answer any questions anybody have. Anybody have any questions or tricks that they want to share? We can do that too. I did have one person ask me, when am I going to start showing techniques? Like, when am I going to do a head on the camera so that people can see me work and see what kind of work I do? Because I don't believe in not doing anything. I believe in doing all things, anything. If you're in the hair business, you need to be able to do all things and anything if you want to make your money. I don't believe in passing up money or missing money because of something I didn't learn how to do. If you don't know how to do it, learn how to do it. If you don't understand it, ask questions. Ask the next beautician. You guys are supposed to be networking together, working together. Don't be afraid to ask anybody or somebody, you know, how you do this. I'm not sure. I think this is how it's done. Am I wrong? What am I doing wrong? So we'll cover that in the next, in 104, because this will be called 103. Anytime that I'm doing a teaching or a lesson, I'm going to call them, you know, go by numbers. And when I'm doing hair, then it'll be volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. So you'll know the difference between my teaching and when I'm doing a service or on a customer. And not my mannequin, because I love this mannequin. She makes everything easy. She don't talk back. All right, guys. That's enough for today. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And don't forget, if you have any questions, put it down below. And one of these days, I'll find somebody to do me an intro. I know that looks a little on the side, too, when they come on. And it's me, Venus. But anyway, I'll work on that. You guys have a great day. Bye.